Hey friends, welcome back. Today we're in Midtown Melbourne, Florida at a customer's house to rescue one of my other plumbers that works for us and his helper. They've got themselves in a little bit of mess. This is a little bit along the same premises as you saw in my video last week when we made some repairs on a kitchen drain. But this case, we're going to be taking out cast iron. You're going to be able to witness that. It's in concrete block. It's for a kitchen drain. Let's go in and see what we're getting into. You take a look here, this waste arm is blown out. See that? It's been leaking up in this block wall, and that's the waste arm that goes in for the kitchen and stuff. However, the plumber that's here working has explained to me that this T is a little bit high, and it's making it so everything's bucking backwards in there. So we're gonna take this whole T out of here and put it back together, kind of like you saw in my last video last week, so we can drop this waste arm and everything's going to size together the proper height without a back pitch. All right, the first thing we're gonna do is take and cut this waste arm out of here, get it out of the way, and then we're gonna attempt to get this cast iron T out of here. This thing is trying to get this thing out of here. Look at that. I'm going to take that T out of here next. All right, so we got to be careful. This used to be an outside wall, but they've got an addition on it, so we're in the back part of where the kitchen is, but it's still a concrete wall. And we got to cut this 2-inch cast iron stack. It is 2-inch. And hopefully the thing doesn't fall down through the roof. And hopefully it doesn't because it's in concrete. Let's give it a try and cut out the top of the T. All right, so we got through most of the top of that. This is gonna be tighter because it's up against the concrete down in here. So this is really gonna be more of a hassle. Hopefully we can cut it off good and not get it cracked going down towards the floor. Let's try that one. I had to get out there for a minute, getting stuffy. So I almost got through. It's got very tricky because it's right in the concrete block. Now, it's like a cycle of events when it comes to these houses here in the Melbourne, Florida area. There's a good share of parts of town that all these pipes are starting to go out in there, so which is making us really super busy. You know, these little waste arms, they rot out in the wall because they're made out of copper. And over the years and stuff, the bellies rot out from, you know, them blocking up, and they're just being sediment and stuff sitting on the bottom belly of that thin wall copper and stuff. So we're just going to have to do what we had to do. Not like last week. I'm not breaking the floor up if I don't have to, but we got to get that T out, and we got to put a new one in, but lower it some so it doesn't buck uphill when it goes to setting up everything underneath the kitchen sink. Got through most of the top part there, just a little bit there. That's the one we can't get all the way through. I'm gonna have to try to grind a little deeper, even if it means hitting the concrete. So I don't want to split that thing going down to the ground, then we're gonna have a whole mess of crap going on here. All right, nice and easy. We're gonna try to tap this thing out. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. Not bad. We were able to cut that when we broke it. We didn't split the pipe. Now we just get to put it back together. Sweet. I have to get that hole moved down a little bit, so I'm gonna have to use the chipping hammer to get a little bit of that out. All right, well, there's the old T that came out of here. It's a 2-inch stack going up and 2-inch going down. And you can see that's really paper thin. These old houses, a lot of them down here in the south and stuff, they use the thin wall copper and the bellies just rot out and they get clogged up back there in that T and stuff. But we would have just replaced the waste arm on here, but like I said, this T sat a little bit high. Maybe when they built the house, it was the perfect height. But now that they put a cabinet and stuff like that, that's different these days. This line's up a little bit too high and it bucks all the water the back in the wrong direction the way it's set up with the garbage disposal underneath there. You'll see that when we get to it. Let's go ahead and get the new T and everything set back into place. All right, you see where that existing hole, it's not gonna go in there underneath the kitchen sink. So we gotta lower that down, which means we're gonna have to structure this new T to kind of just hug the top of that block going across. All right, and then we'll figure out where we need to drill that hole over there and attach this up to the vent. So we gotta have a Fernco there and a Fernco there and bridge that space with 2-inch pipe and put our waste arm in and hook up our kitchen. Kind of a tight fit going down in here. Get this nice and easy. Have patience. Wow. Bet you guys up north when you're trying to stretch one of these Ferncos in the winter, it's a bear. And it's not winter down here by any means. I'm having a little bit of a difficult time getting this. There we go. There it goes. See that? Only needs to go down there far enough. And I've got the clamp already sitting there in place. So we'll kind of get that where we need to be. Take a measurement for our T to go into place and all that stuff. And then we'll work on that waste arm. Apologize about all the talking and stuff. There's a bunch of people here on this property between the people that live here and my other plumbers, but we'll get through it. Just watch and pay attention. This is a 2 by 2 by 1.5 inch sanitary T. 1.5 inch is for the waste arm, and this is going down into that bottom Fernco. Nice and easy. There we go. That looks good. See, we're considerably about 2 inches lower. Our finally outcome there. Okay, now we have to take our other 2-inch Fernco and kind of, there it went. Yeah, that slipped on nice. And just kind of leave it set up there. We're gonna take a measurement from the hub up to within about 1/2 inch. And then we'll slide that Fernco down through there. So, looking at right about 7 inches. There where that Fernco is. See that? Get it in there nice. It's not going to go anywhere, and then we can slide the Fernco down to the top of it. I don't know if you can see that or not. I have to loosen that up a little. Loosen that down a little bit so we can slide that Fernco further onto the pipe. Tricky doing this with one hand. You've heard me say that before. There we go. See that? Perfect. Well, there goes our other plumbers. I guess we got stuck finishing the job off and they got called off to do other things. We're up underneath the kitchen sink now. The whole problem was that was too high and it was bucking this thing up and holding water. That's why we dropped that T. We're gonna drill a hole right underneath that one about 2 inches. Well, this lady that lives here, she works on her phone. See, that's what you hear in the background going on. And I know I'm gonna hear from some of you guys, but my drill just broke and I can't drill a nice hole out in this cabinet. Oh well, so I had to kind of use a pair of channel locks to get some of the cabinet out of the way in the hole, but it is what it is. This is going to be a tight fit, as you can see. I got my waist arm ready to go. I got to kind of cock it up that way and somehow get it to go in there, and that's why we left the Fernco's loose. They're not tightened up, so we had a little bit of wiggle room. Tricky business here. Let me see if I can sneak that baby in there. Bear with me. Oh, we got it. Ooh, right up against the cement. All right, there's that waist arms coming out. Got a piece, we got it glued in there. My partner's on the other side, holding on to the 90. Let's get some primer glue on there and get that in place. All right, let's take this part of the disposal kit back out, as well as that, put a new one in with a trap and a trap adapter, and wrap this baby up. Put this disposal kit in here. A little piece of rubber on the end of there. See that? And our little ring. Slide that down. And put that into the side of the disposal. All right, last thing we got to do is to put that trap in there. I'm gonna probably have to cut this down a little bit. Oh yeah, look at that. Sweet. All right, so it's time of truth to find out if any of this leaks, and wrap this thing up and get out of here. All right, the water is running. Everything looks beautiful. No leaks. All right, that's going to do it for another fun-filled adventure today. Thanks so much for watching the video. These old cast iron pipes, they're easier to break than they are to fix and stuff. And you saw, if you go back to the video, I couldn't cut through this all the way with the angle grinder because the concrete was in the way. And I got it cut as much as I could, and I popped it loose with a little baby sledgehammer. Don't always trust that, because if the cast iron is in poor enough shape, it's going to end up breaking off in an area where you're not going to be able to fix it. You're going to have to break out the floor like we did last weekend. The whole premise of this is because these little waste arms, thin wall copper, will rot out in the flood inside of the monolithic wall and make it stink, and now you got a bunch of mold and everything like that happening. Everything seemed to work out just right. And if you got any comments or questions, leave them down below, and don't forget to keep plumbing.